and welcome back everyone. I'm Galatunia and today I'm going to be trying copics for the first time because I am sick of cheap YouTube art supplies. I got into the Himi jelly gouache trend a couple of years ago. It was gloopy, hard to control, no amount of water actually made it work the way gouache is supposed to work. Yet as soon as I upgraded to Shinhan gouache, which isn't even professional artist grade gouache, it's just a step above up. The difference was night and day. I then got into acrylic markers, and you cannot go 5 minutes into YouTube without hearing either Ohuhu or Arrtx. Everyone loves to talk about how opaque these are when neither of these brands actually are. This was a single layer test I did between Arrtx, Ohuhu, and Polska. Please ignore the badly drawn Glaceon. The Glaceon doesn't exist. Just pay attention to the Squirtle. The difference is night and day. So when I decided that I wanted to try alcohol markers, I went straight for the industry standard. Good old Copic, which I'm holding upside down, but you get the point. Now I'm not going to be going at this alone. I fell in love with this cute little, God, the markers are so loud, I'm sorry. So yeah, this is Easy Copic Techniques. I actually forget what that is. Easy Copic Techniques using only 20 sketch markers. And today, I love this book so much. Look at this. What in the Pokemon type chart is this? But it's so cool. Because this shows you can actually blend your markers kind of like paint. The idea for today is I want to tackle some of the basic exercises like these, and then eventually work my way up into a more full illustration. Personally, I'm feeling kind of summery already, probably because it's already like 70 degrees out. I really want to try this adorable retro looking lemon. I really want to do that. And I want to try this like lemon slice. So I prepared these ahead of time just to make sure the ink had enough time to dry. The black is a Tombow Beef Fumoji pen. I think I'm saying that correct. And then the brown is all sepia micron. I didn't want to spend the money on the Copic fine liners yet until I knew I liked these markers. I'm actually a little afraid of liking these markers because my wallet is never going to recover if I do. The book says to flick horizontally and then flick vertically, and you don't go all the way. You want to do it in small sections from the top left corner all the way down to the bottom right. And then for the green one, we're going to be doing circle motions from top left to bottom right. I'm actually a little worried about things like smell. Which one's the brush end? You're the brush end. Because when I think alcohol markers, I think like Sharpies. And while I have a few, I genuinely just can't stand them. Oh, that smell isn't too bad. Honestly, after the like initial puff, I don't smell anything. That's actually really impressive because I seem to be really sensitive to like alcohol, and I'm not at all staying inside the lines, but that's okay. And then I think we have to do this while it's still wet to actually get it, I think, because I've watched a couple of videos trying to get a sense of what I'm going to be in for. Actually, I wonder why we're doing the flick method with the red versus the circle with the green. I don't know why we're doing two different colors. I'm probably doing a little too much, but I'm going to leave that alone. So while that's drying, I'm going to take BG34 and I'm going to do that circle method. Oh, and then for paper, I didn't even think about, just tore a page out of one of my Ohuhu marker pads. It was genuinely really silly. I was only intending to buy one book. I am not staying inside the lines even remotely for this. I was only intending to buy like one book, but I guess I made a mistake and I got a bundle that had like my little square notebook you've probably seen in a couple of videos by now. But it also came with like this huge 8x11 sketchbook. I was like, what am I going to do with all that extra paper? That's too big and unwieldy for me. I like the texture this provides though. It's not really flat color like it showed in the book, but I like the texture. That's kind of cool. Let's see. Is that close? Oh, wow, no. How many coats do I need to do to make that match? Am I supposed to make that match? Okay, so I've done like 3 or 4 layers each. I am a wee bit worried because this is a book, right? They had to scan in all the illustrations and they probably had to Photoshop things for clarity. I don't think I'm supposed to actually get that color exactly. Okay, so next I'm going to do the circle shading. Now they actually have a couple of these in this book. Like they have this one. I'm going to do the one with the red because I love how shiny this looks. I love how shiny these cute little cherries are. But more interestingly, when I was looking through it, I don't know how well you can see it if I zoom in, but we have to use E08 for the shadow. And I think it goes back to this cute little Pokemon type chart. So let's see, the base is going to be R35 and then E08, which is over here. Oh, that's actually really pretty. Now, the whole reason I've got 2 of these circles here is because I've been going back and forth on black outlines versus brown outlines. You can probably tell from my little Sprite chibi that for digital art, I've been doing brown and I've really liked it. I want to see if... I tend to find black a little too harsh. Oh, this is already so much more saturated than that color. Why wouldn't I just use this? These squeak. I couldn't really hear it when I was doing these, but I'm pressing a little harder on this one, and there's like a little... It doesn't bother me. It's actually kind of cute. Which I guess that's a weird thing to find cute. Ooh, they do smell though. Oh, whoa, this one smells a little more than the rest. I take back what I said. I'm over here praising these markers like, oh, hey, these actually don't smell that much. Nope. You just gotta open the right ones. Layer the base color of the shadow to blend, then add a little more EO8 to restore. If I'm adding a little bit more of the color to blend, then why? Okay, just follow the book. Just follow the book. So now we want EO8 to restore some color. Okay, I see why. Now we're getting closer to that deep maroon color that was on the type chart. Our little copic Pokemon type chart. I think I am supposed to take the R35 and give it a swish. Because even though this is reflecting bounce light off of whatever surfaces it's resting on, it would still... Also, I didn't do this nearly as curved as they did. Looks a little... looks a wee tad wonky. Let's see if I can rectify my mistake with this one. That is not the color that comes out of that marker when you first use it. So I do think there's a teeny tiny bit of Photoshop going on. At least for this rendering style, so far it looks like there is a ton of layering. And again, I'm reminded of watercolor. Or at least what I've seen in watercolor videos. I haven't tried watercolor yet. Now, if you're having fun with this video and you would like to see more videos like this in the future where I try different art supplies, then consider joining my Patreon. All paid tiers of the Patreon receive early access to my videos a day earlier before everyone else, and you get to watch my videos ad-free. And if you're tired of subscriptions, then you can either buy me some tea or you can just watch my other videos. Because of people like you, I was able to purchase this expensive art supply and give it a try. I think I did something wrong. Or I hope I did something wrong. Because this has kind of a golden tone to the shadow. This was really interesting. Because when you think shadows, you think cool tones. You think like black, blue, maybe purple. This artist uses red shades for their shadows, which I find very interesting. And it gives this warm glow gradient effect. I think I screwed up. So, well, no. The more that it dries, the closer that it actually gets to what I see. I think my problem is the base yellow is a lot darker or appears darker. I don't think I put enough ink. I also made this initial zigzag going down in the second step a little too big. Like, my shadow shouldn't be this wide. It should only be going down this part, and I think that's part of what is throwing me off. But that back and forth we kept having over here, oh my god. Yellow, then red, then another red, then yellow again, then red again, then yellow again. There's so much layering and switching that goes on, and then it doesn't really say. It probably covered it in earlier steps that I skipped, but it doesn't really say if you need to. A fly just landed on my thing, and I think I accidentally crushed it. Friend, you came to the wrong place at the wrong time. Hold on. Yeah, that's my biggest problem. I actually got the coloration pretty close to the book. You can see the red seeping through the shadow. That's actually really pretty. This is way over than it should be, but that's okay. And the final one I'm going to do is actually this green one with the cylinder. Now, interestingly, again, this artist really likes using the red tones for the shadows. I'm really interested in whether these marks on the side in the shadow, I'm very curious if I can actually get those to appear. Because interestingly, they use the brush to do this, and they leave gaps in between. So I need to remember to do that. So I need to do the lighter green, the darker green, and then come in with my pale red to start that. Okay, I can do that. Now, it doesn't say anywhere in the instructions that I need more than one coat, so I'm going to assume it's just one coat of the green. I probably need to press a little harder to get these colors, because I tend to have like a feather-light touch with my supplies. It's not necessarily out of me wanting to take care of them, even though I do want to take care of my supplies. Part of it is also my hands hurty. My hands hurt really easily. It's weird. I can type all day. Like, I can crank out 10K words, no problem, when I'm actually in the mood to write. But the second I pick up a pencil and I try to do any kind of physical writing for more than, gosh, 10 minutes, my hands will start to hurt. So I kind of have to be a little careful with how much pressure I put on. And I am switching techniques like no tomorrow. I am going from swishes to swirls. Now, even though it doesn't say in the book to make this even, I'm going to, because I'm assuming that's the reason they had us do these squares over here. And it's probably what fumbled this so badly. I didn't even bother doing the black outline. I like the purple outline a lot better. Okay, it never fails to amaze me how much better things look on camera than it does to me actually sitting here on the desk. I got up to do something while this was drying, and everything looks so vivid. I think I'm being impatient and not actually letting the markers dry and seep into the paper. I gotta admit, I'm not looking forward to refilling these. Like, that's a good thing about copics. You can refill them. But I've watched like videos showing how, and you gotta weigh them, and I have a scale and everything. I just, I really like the texture of this green. Like, this is just really pretty to me. Like, I wouldn't want to fully cover this, and I think that's kind of the point. You're supposed to let some of the color show through. That's really cool. It looked a little better before I did that, but that's okay. I am terrible at staying in the light, and this paper is warping from all the color that's been used on it. Okay, so then I believe I have to go over this Oh, wow. Yeah, you can really see it with this one. Okay, so there is an upper limit of how much this paper can handle. That's okay. Okay, so I did R81. Now, do I need multiple coats of that, or do I just need... Okay, as I lay it right on top of my wet. Okay, add a layer of BG34, use R81 to add a shadow, nope, it just says add lines with R32 and to leave gaps in between the lines. And then I'm going to go over the lines again with R81, filling the gaps to get that little rough texture at the edge. Well, first of all, I made my top of my little cucumber slice not as fat as theirs. I'm just now noticing that. This isn't as dark. Like, I know it's not going to be as dark. Maybe if I did another layer of the lines to try and make it this dark. Yeah, I'm gonna try that real quick. So it's R32, then R81. And I don't think I was fast enough switching between them. So let's do that. Okay, I think that was what I needed to do. That is already looking a lot closer to what I was wanting from the book. Yeah, look at that. That is so much closer to what I was wanting. I could probably even do a third coat to get close to this. I don't know if the paper could handle it, but I think that's what I would need to do. Okay, but moving on. I'm really happy with these. These actually look really good on camera, and they're looking, oh God, I lost my paper. They're looking better as they dry. I like this a lot. This could be a little better, but that's for future me. For right now, these came out much better than I thought they were going to. But now, after I go fetch the paper I just lost, ta-da! I am stupidly proud of this. I know I was copying the book, but this is like my first fruit study. And it came out better than I thought it would. So I want to do this really cute reflective lemon. And there's so many more steps. Holy crap, there's so many more steps. I really wish these would actually sit on this without flying. Every time I praise these things for not smelling, they decide to remind me, nope, we're still alcohol. We still smell. I do like that this rendering style kind of encourages you to be a little rough and really play into the texture of the paper. I like that a lot. That's something I feel like was missing from when I work with my acrylic markers, particularly with my Poscas, because they have such good coverage that they don't really leave anything of the paper. Now, interestingly, for the shadow, we don't dive immediately into the red color like we did for the other exercises. We actually start with Y21. And we need to do like a squiggle of shadow. And we want to do this. And it does encourage you to be uneven, but we do want to go from the stem all the way to the end. Oh, crap. I was supposed to leave a little highlight here. Oopsie. That's okay. I can make up for that. Okay, now this part I'm going to have to be fast because now I need to do R11 to add some of that warmth back into the shadow, even though it's already looking pretty warm. I have to use R11 and then I gotta go back over it with Y21 to blend. And to me, blend sounds like it needs to be wet. So I need to be fast. So now we're moving on to the leaves and the stem. So like 3/4, so like all the way down to here is gonna be the darker green. I don't know what the thought behind that is. That one they don't really talk about that much. Maybe they do in the gradient exercise that I kind of skipped. But I feel like as transparent as copics are, I feel like you would want to go from light to dark, but this one is actually encouraging you to go from dark to light. Make uneven shadows. Okay. And then I'm going to go over the shadow with BG34 and then again with YG11. Ooh, okay, I'm going to have to move quickly. Okay, so it's not just the border. It's literally wherever the shadows would be. That is... Oh, I am supposed to color... Hold on. I am supposed to color... I thought it was a little weird that I was leaving it for so many steps. Let's do that. Because if light's coming this way, this would be causing a shadow against the leaf. This would also be causing a shadow against the leaf. There's definitely a shadow in here. Oh, I need to be moving a lot faster than I currently am. Oh, geez. Okay, so now I need to go over everything I just colored in red with the darker green and then the lighter green. And I should be moving a lot faster than I am. Ooh, and I desecrated the lemon. I might be going too fast. I don't know. Is there like an optimal speed that I'm not thinking about for these? Okay, and then it says for a final touch, add some fine highlights with a white pen. Wait, I'm already done. Oh, okay. This is cute. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm going to branch this shadow out so it's not so circular. This artist uses red 11 as a shadow a lot. And I see why now. This has got such a nice glow to it. And so now we want to do some small highlights. I've got 2 different white pens. Everyone always recommends the Sakura Jelly Roll. This is the size 10. I've tried smaller sizes and I don't like them. They're always so transparent. And then this is the Uniball Signo. This one weighs more. Like, it has more heft to it in my hand. So I'm going to try this first, and if it doesn't work, I'll try this. We want a little highlight. Oh. I might have already done too much. I don't think I was supposed to cover the line art. That looks very milky. I don't think that's what I'm going for. What about you? Because this feels better. Yeah, there we go. So now I can add the highlight I didn't have. Ta-da! That's actually really cute. The colors are not nearly as rich as in the book. So I think I just need to accept that if I want something close to this, I will need a lot more layers. Like, that is not nearly as dark. And I don't know how to feel about that. This is cute. I like this. I'm actually a little low-key proud of this. But it is so much lighter than this lemon. And because the base coat is so light and transparent, the highlight's not as hard as it is over here. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I feel like if you really enjoy pastel, soft colors, then this is more than fine. But if you want something more bold and rich like you see in the book, that's a lot of layers and ink you have to use to get that. I'm kind of at the point where I'm wondering, when would you just use paint? I could be talking completely out my rear end because I have never done watercolor or The only paint I really have experience with is a teeny bit of gouache, and then my Posca pens, which are acrylic paint. Because the point is that you see multiple colors to make up for the fact that you can't mix the markers. I feel like if that's what you're going for, why wouldn't you save the money and the effort and paint? Because I can actually kind of feel it. My hands are, my hands getting a little annoyed with me. I'm gonna reserve my final judgment. I really want to do this lemon slice. I need Y11, Y21, R11, so all of those are the same from the last one. Instead of the green, we need E50 and E31. So we're trading the greens for earth colors. Ta-da! It's done. And if I'm being honest, I'm not quite as happy with this one as I was with the actual whole lemon. Because if you look at the picture, this is where the difference between how it's meant to look is probably the most stark so far. These colors do not present this richer result. They just don't. The only way they could was if I was just doing layer after layer after layer, which they don't say anywhere that you need to do multiple layers of the same color and base coat. I don't know how on earth you are supposed to get this deep an orange from these three super pale colors. But matching aside, my hand actually kind of hurts. That might be why I'm a little, I'm not gonna say angry, but I am gonna say a little disappointed. I do genuinely like this book, like a lot. If you're willing to take the time to try and translate the instructions a little bit, the instructions are great. As for actually using the markers, I see the rationale, but again, like when I was talking about after I finished painting the lemon, at what point would it make more sense to just paint instead of using these markers? Sounds like I'm gonna have to do more exercises out of this book. So let me know if you want to see me try copic markers again. That's gonna be all for me today. So thank you all so much for spending your time with me today. And until next time, see you then. Bye-bye. Contort that arm. Bye.